Your Excellency, the NRM government has built now close to 590 markets across different districts of Uganda. Many jobs have been created, improving livelihoods of many Ugandans. We appreciate especially the infrastructure developments in the markets. This significant development has been reinforced by the recent enactment of the Markets Act 2022. We, however, have our attention drawn to the following issues that might call for your personal attention, Your Excellency, sir. Some of your common men and women whose livelihoods rotates around the markets have been unfairly pushed out of markets by some powerful people, including with the involvement of some local government authorities. Many times the vendors are charged considerably prohibitively high amounts to the detriment of their small businesses. We would like to appeal to you on behalf of these small business people and market vendors to institute some investigation into these outcries. Number 6, Your Excellency, harmonization of salaries in public service, including public universities and other critical areas. We would like to appreciate your commitment to enhance workers' salaries, starting with the scientists. This approach started about 3 years ago. We hope that the plan for enhancing salaries for all public servants will be expedited to improve motivation and overall productivity. Indeed, Your Excellency, your men and women in the humanities are eagerly waiting for your long-time promise. Specific to public universities, sir, we understand that some money was recently released by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to enable managements of these institutions to close the gaps in salary scales of their employees. We are very grateful for this effort, and it is our hope that this will go a long way in improving industrial relations and the performance in the institutions. Unfortunately, sir, we have learned that some of the managers in these institutions seem to feel that harmonization will give workers too much money, and they want to divert this money and instead use it for other programs. This plot should not be allowed because it may derail what has so far been achieved. Your Excellency, allow me to address myself to the enforcement of existing laws. Enforcement mechanisms and penalties for employers who engage in unlawful practices should be activated. In June 2018, the unions in the public sector signed a collective bargaining agreement with government, which would have seen the workers in the public service have their salaries rise by close to 70%. Unfortunately, this agreement was only implemented halfway. Sir, a collective bargaining agreement is a very critical instrument in creating harmony between the employer and the employees. I therefore would like to request you, sir, to direct the responsible people in the ministries to give due attention to this process by facilitating dialogue and collective bargaining between employers and workers. These mechanisms can help to foster a culture of mutual respect and cooperation in the workplace. The legal frameworks and enforcement mechanisms should be strengthened to protect workers from exploitation and abuse. Workers' fundamental rights such as fair wages, equal pay for work of equal value, health and safety, safe working conditions, and freedom from discrimination should be jealously guarded. All the labor laws we have in this country, including the recently amended ones, have their foundation in Article 29, Section 1E, and 40, Section 3 of the Constitution of Uganda as amended. Sir, I would like to briefly talk about climate change. Climate change is becoming a serious labor issue, and we would like to seek for partnership in a tripartite agreement to engage in the current mechanisms under organized labor to combat climate change. We have the capacity to develop tree nursery beds in all districts of Uganda and distribute seedlings to the communities for planting, if only we can get your support. Your Excellency, sir, we've been here since Sunday, and yesterday we participated in tree planting in this city. We planted about 100 trees. There is an issue of child labor which I am told might take us to the ILO soon. So Your Excellency, we might request you to interest yourself in this matter. Now, as I conclude, corruption. Your Excellency, our country is riddled with the increasing vice of corruption. And we are constrained to believe that it is partly because of deteriorating and poor working culture, unethical conduct, the unfairness in remuneration, among others. The high corruption levels have undermined national development efforts through shoddy public works and services, loss of colossal sums of money to graft. As National Organization of Trade Unions, we would like to request you, sir, that allow us to participate in the fight against corruption. Finally, as I close, Your Excellency, last year on 1st May in Namutumba, you did promise that you would find time to meet the leaders of workers in this country. We believe you have been very busy, but we would like to request you once again for this opportunity so that some of these things we do not have to bring them here. We can share them with you before we come here. Your Excellency, we actually believe that even the ongoing discussions on merging of government agencies and parastatals to cut administrative costs is possibly a result of corruption. We believe that as a country, we need to instead focus more on reducing or eliminating corruption and the high loss of public funds to graft. Your Excellency, the National Organization of Trade Unions pledges to work with you. In conclusion, Your Excellency, the workers of this country are ready to support government programs to the extent of mobilizing all workers and the communities where they work to embrace all government initiatives geared towards economic development. I thank you once again, Your Excellency, for your great leadership and for listening to me. Happy Independence Day for God and my country.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman General Notu, Brother Musa Okello. Your Excellency, allow me to take this opportunity to invite people who employ us, and those are our employers through their Federation of Uganda Employers. I want to take this opportunity to invite the Chairman of Federation of Employers to come and give his speech. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency, the Vice President, Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, His Lordship, the Chief Justice, the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Her Lordship, the Deputy Chief Justice, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Deputy Prime Ministers, religious, traditional and cultural leaders, the Secretary General of NRM, the Leader of Opposition in Parliament, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, honorable members of Parliament, employers and trade union leaders, distinguished guests, the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Federation of Uganda Employers, Your Excellency, I'm delighted to convey a warm reception and welcome to you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, here at Mukabura grounds in Fort Portal, Tourism City, to preside over the International Labour Day celebrations. Your Excellency, allow me to start by thanking you heartily for creating time to be with us on this important occasion as we recognize and appreciate our gallant workers for their contribution to national development, as well as the International Labour Organization for having maintained and developed a system of international labor standards that promote opportunities for all people to obtain decent and productive work in conditions of freedom, equity, security, and dignity. Your Excellency, I would like to recognize and appreciate my fellow employers for sustaining the lives of thousands of workers and their families by creating jobs for them. In addition, employers play a pivotal role in the socio-economic transformation of our country through investment in the provision of goods and services, besides being the principal taxpayers, which taxes finance public service and socio-economic infrastructure development. We therefore reaffirm our commitment to upholding the principle of social justice for which ILO was founded through enhancing decent work for sustainable development. Your Excellency, the theme of this year's Labour Day is improving access to labor justice, a prerequisite for increased productivity. Your Excellency, this theme aligns well with our mandates as the Federation of Uganda Employers. Our mission as employers' organization is to enhance employers' competitiveness through policy advocacy, provision of business support services, fostering sustainable employment relations, and job creation. Ladies and gentlemen, access to justice is more than just improving an individual's access to courts of law or guaranteeing legal representation. It is the ability of a person to seek and obtain remedy for grievances through formal and informal institutions of justice in compliance with human rights standards. Your Excellency, as the Federation of Uganda Employers, we mainly focus on prevention of disputes at workplace. One of the key aspects of a labor dispute system is try to keep people out of court, which helps to maintain sustainable labor relations, reduces the cost of expensive legal proceedings, and contributes to economic productivity. In this regard, we have continuously provided training and guidance to employers, including encouraging them to prioritize the well-being of employees and creation of a workplace environment in which employees can feel safe, engaged, inspired, and productive. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Federation, we have created awareness among employers on the application of social dialogue and always encouraging them to resolve any dispute that may arise at workplace in a non-confrontational way through alternative dispute resolution in form of either negotiation, reconciliation, mediation, or arbitration as provided for in the laws of Uganda. Your Excellency, I think if this approach was pursued, the high pressure which the union chairperson was presenting here of so many courts would probably not be as much as he's doing it. Your Excellency, employers appreciate your being a good listener and considerate. For instance, when Parliament passed the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill 2019, and recently the Employment Bill 2022, with some clauses in those bills which were not only unfair to employers, but in disregard of the employer's position, which we had clearly presented to the parliamentary committees on health and that on gender, labor and social development respectively, we expressed our dissatisfaction with such clauses in the said bills, and Your Excellency listened to our concerns. As a result, you sent back those bills to Parliament for further consultation and debate. Indeed, justice cannot be for one side alone, but it must be for both, the employee and the employer. Your Excellency, allow me to raise 3 issues as I conclude. The first issue is the issue of the informal economy. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of the growing informality in Uganda has remained an issue of great concern to employers. According to recent research, the informal economy accounts for 75% of the total employment space in Uganda. In addition, about 85% of the working women and 92% of the youth entering the workforce are all employed in this informal economy. As you may be aware, Your Excellency, decent work goes beyond just having a job, to include protection of rights at work, social dialogue, and social protection. However, majority of the work in this informal economy is insecure, poorly paid, and often unsafe, and therefore absence of decent work. Your Excellency, this informality has become synonymous with poverty, tax evasion, and the avoidance of regulation, yet it offers some growth opportunities beyond survival in the absence of other supportive structures or opportunities, and it is linked to wider economic systems. Such challenges and issues in the informal economy need to be addressed collectively with collective wisdom and effort to support the gradual process of the transition of this informal economy, business to formality. Your Excellency, the Federation of Ugandan Employers remain committed to strengthening the existing partnership and social dialogue with your government. Together we can explore positive ways to address this problem of informality in the country. Issue number 2, Your Excellency, is the challenge of declining prices of tea and the issue of the living wage as issue number 3. Your Excellency, the continuous decline in tea prices, one of the strategic cash crops earmarked in the country's national development plan, which crop, especially grown in this region where we are and other regions of the country, is an issue of great concern to all of us as it threatens the livelihood of many Ugandans and our country's GDP. Your Excellency, we know there is a lot being done to address this issue, but would request the government to fast-track these measures to resolve this issue as soon as possible. On the issue of the living wage, Your Excellency, a living wage is a minimum income necessary for a worker to meet their basic needs. But a living wage on the side of the employer should be understood as one, if paid, should not disrupt business continuity. Therefore, there is a potential dichotomy here. We propose a cautious rather than a rushed approach to this issue of living wage so that we can achieve a win-win formula for setting the appropriate living wage. Your Excellency, I'm happy to report that as a federation we are put in a team. We are tasked by the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development to come up with proposals, and would like to really come up with the proper formula which will not just favor one side, but it will favor all sides with productivity in the middle of everything. Lastly, Your Excellency, I wish to thank you for the initiative of State House Investors Protection Unit. I think the representative workers talked about this, about corruption, and the CEO's Forum. Indeed, you have clearly demonstrated your resolve to accelerating investments in the country and safeguarding our investors from corrupt individuals and unnecessary bureaucratic procedures. This is something we are looking forward to in addressing some of the obstacles that hinder business growth and job creation in the country. I thank you, Your Excellency. Together for Employers, Dr. Silva Mujisha, Chairperson, Federation of Uganda Employers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Chairman, Federation of Uganda Employers, Dr. Engineer Silva Mugisha, for those remarks. Your Excellency, allow me invite the Ambassador of Belgium to Uganda, His Excellency Hughes Chantry. Your Excellency, the Belgian government has, over the years, been impacting the lives of Ugandans. They have been supporting our national development goals. They have been supporting us in achieving these goals, especially in the sectors of health, education, and social development. You are most welcome, His Excellency Hughes Chantry.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice of Uganda, Excellencies, members of the government, Honorables, Member of the Parliament, Excellencies, representative of the diplomatic corps and of international organizations and agencies, representative of the workers, representative of the employers, ladies and gentlemen, Ugandan workers, distinguished guests, all protocol observed. First of all, allow me to warmly thank the organizer of today's celebration in Fort Portal, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, to give me this opportunity to address such an esteemed audience. This year, the theme of the International Labour Day is improving access to labour justice, a prerequisite for increased productivity. Indeed, if workers know their rights, if workers know that these rights will be respected, and if workers know that there are legal ways to seek redress when these rights are not respected, yes, they will work better. They will arrive on time at the workplace. They will need less sick leave, and probably they will stay longer with their employer. Everybody is benefiting from it. Your Excellency, distinguished guest, this, of course, is only possible when the legal framework exists, and in Uganda, it does exist indeed. As very well explained in the synopsis prepared for today's celebration, numerous acts have been adopted by the Parliament